It's funny, people still talk about their white whales, things they've yet to pursue some 200 years after this book was written. In chapter 42, Ishmael, the narrator, says the whale is the absence of all color, but he's wrong as the author Herman Melville intended him to be. The whale, white as the moon, is all colors, of course. Their harmony, that is the composition that reaches the eye. It's natural in this analogy, making Ahab and the Pequod, the ship Captain Ahab and the crew sail on, feel particularly man-made. Not that man is unnatural in all scenarios, but here, Melville makes it pretty clear we don't belong. The whales being hunted don't provide sustenance. They produce goods to be sold by the crew and bought by the consumer. Top of the line machine lubrication and long lasting oil lamps, to be specific. The whales were not necessary for humankind. They're not even animals as much as a source of income in Moby Dick. The Pequod becomes less of a ship and more of a vessel for capital to reign over nature. Luckily, for my interpretation, nature prevails. To quote, the great shroud of the sea rolled on, as did 5,000 years ago. Shipwrecked asunder and Ishmael rescued in the unpublished epilogue, there will always be whales and there will always be Pequods. Ahabs who don't want the dollar so much as to spread despair in reaction to the way the world treats them. Didn't have to be that way. It starts with hunting the whale, but the whalers inevitably tie themselves to the Pequod's charge to death, not the hero Ahab makes them out to be. Free as the whalers may seem, Ishmael begs the question, who ain't a slave? Tell me that. To say that whaling was a last resort for the downtrodden before outright poverty. Sure, they might not have been literal slaves, but to the dollar the question still rings true. Money, the cycle of whaling, that's what made the crew of the Pequod unnatural, sailing through a world they didn't belong in for no good reason to those who inhabit it. The whales don't have a dollar, and neither did the indigenous people who the Pequod was named after. Just the crew. Now, it's really stretching it, but the Pequod housed 30 men. Perhaps this is reminiscent of the amount of states in America, as Melville had written the book, but perhaps it isn't. That's the thing about Moby Dick. As I look into the sky, I think about a dream. We dream of exploring our moon, white like the whale, one large step for mankind. But maybe we shouldn't. Maybe this is another one of those man versus nature conflicts we've been talking about, that Melville warned us about. Maybe we'll try to turn the stars into capital as they have tried to turn the seas. Hopefully we won't. Hopefully we'll learn from this 200-year-old book, but we never seem to.